Zel Boy Army, welcome to another spicy video on the channel. This is a must watch. I'm going to educate you guys on one of the biggest meta game-changing things that has been happening on FIFA 21. It's happened more and more over the years. We've got more new cards that maybe fit this. I am talking about fullbacks playing at centre-back. You might think that that's nonsense. You might think it's great and already be doing it. For those who've never heard of it before, I'm going to go in depth, explain exactly why it's something you should be doing. If you're kind of on the fence, I'm going to convince you why you should be doing it. And if you're someone who's already been doing it, I'm going to go, like I say, in depth and maybe convince you even more and show you some of the best options there is in the game for this. Basically, on FIFA 21, fullbacks now seem to be the best option at centre-back, and this video is going to explain exactly why. I appreciate all the support lately on the YouTube channel, boys. It has been absolutely crazy. We're getting loads of new subscribers, loads of you coming over to my Twitch. I appreciate it a lot. I read every comment. I try to respond to every comment the best I can, boys. I really do appreciate the support. Let's get into the video. Okay, here. What I've done here is I've come up with different examples of fairly meta centre-backs on the game. And then, as in centre-backs that are pretty popular, a lot of people use. And then given an equivalent, a player similar to them in terms of nationality or links that you might be able to use instead. And I'm going to explain by using each example why you should be using fullbacks on the game. Before we get into actually looking at the players, what we need to talk about is FIFA 21, the meta and how it plays. Meta literally by definition means most efficient tactic available. That's what it stands for in terms of the acronym meta. And on FIFA 21, the meta is pace. Lots of people say pace isn't that good anymore, but it still is. But the reason it doesn't stand out as much is because a lot of top people, pros, players, have figured out the best way to play is using these fullbacks. Because when you've got someone like Van Dijk, for example, who's 6'4", great in the air, really good physically, in real life, being 6'4" and beast in the air is really big, because it basically means you're going to be great at winning headers on corners and scoring goals, but you're also going to be really good at defending crosses and amazing in the air. On FIFA 21, aerial ability is there or thereabouts irrelevant. The only time I ever really care whatsoever for aerial ability is it's quite nice to knock the ball up to CR7 on a goal kick, but hardly anyone can beat him in the air anyway, so it doesn't matter really even if you've got a meta centre-back. Or on corners, a near post header is quite nice to score, but you can move the keeper to stop that. So aerial ability on FIFA 21 is pretty much irrelevant. I see lots of people doing crosses that just don't get them anywhere. You shouldn't really ever be crossing on the game, because for the one time it works, it won't work 10 other times, and you may as well be doing something more consistent. FIFA is all about consistency, and my channel is all about trying to help you guys get better, and I'm always going to try to teach you consistent ways of improving. So when we're saying aerial ability doesn't matter that much, another part of it is as long as someone's not absolutely tiny, not a midget, they're going to be able to win headers. They don't have to be 6'5", 6'4" like Van Dijk to be able to compete in the air. So that isn't a big deal. So we've talked about the aerial ability, and that's one reason classic traditional centre-backs, big strong ones, aren't as big this year. And then another element, and like we've just said, is pace. Through balls. You've probably all seen how powerful through balls are on FIFA 21. Through balls are amazing, so you need pace to deal with them. If you've got a Van Dijk, who with a shadow gets to 82 excel, 89 sprint speed, and then you've got a Kleiber, who with an anchor can get 99 excel, 97 sprint speed, who do you think's going to deal better with the through balls? That's a very instant way of looking at it. And it is not just the pace, it's the agility and balance. Agility is more important than balance, I'd say, for this. But you've probably noticed with like a Varane, he doesn't turn quite as quick as one of these more agile fullbacks. There is benefits and pros and cons to it. And I'm not just saying just never use a centre-back again, only use fullbacks now. But the pace and extra agility you get from fullbacks at centre-back makes it a lot easier to deal with through balls. And when through balls are so strong, you don't want slow centre-backs who aren't going to be able to deal with it. So let's look at Kimpembe. he's going to get up to 89 pace, which is pretty good. But with Kazawa, you can put a shadow on him, and he's going to have like 98 pace. So instantly, you're getting a big advantage there. And you're getting the extra agility. Basically, on this game, the key stats for a defender, and this is the main reason why fullbacks are so good at centre-back, is pace first and foremost. Agility, defending's obviously still important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Agility, pace, defending, and physical. But when we look at physical, it is not as vital this year because someone like Klosterman, who's really quick, is one of the best meta centre-backs on this game, even when he's only an 80 rating, because he has pace. He's not the quickest in terms of like compared to some fullbacks, but sprint speed is the most important stat, and a lot of the best centre-backs in terms of actual centre-backs don't have amazing sprint speed. So someone like Klosterman, even though he's a low-rated centre-back, stands out, and the strength and aggression that you normally get with centre-backs isn't as big this year. It does matter, and it makes a difference. And one thing I would say is that body types and being big are nice for getting that extra reach in the box for blocks, bigger tackle radius, but it is not as important as the extra agility and being able to turn quick that a fullback can offer. Because when people are in the box on this game, like we said, through balls are part of the mare. Another part of the mare is turning quick in the box using 5-star weak foots, skill moves, quick dribbling to shift it onto another foot. Big centre-backs like Van Dijk, whilst they're hard to get round, if someone can go either way in the box, Van Dijk, with his 61 agility and 53 balance, isn't going to be able to do that quite as quick. Whereas someone like Reece James, who's got 87 agility, is going to turn quicker, and the smaller bodies do turn quicker. What I would say is I would not use someone under 5'11". So while centre-backs have the advantage of being a bit bigger, it will make them a bit better in the air, but it's not too big a deal. And they have got a bit bigger body for maybe winning 50-50s a bit more, making blocks. You don't want someone too small. So as long as a fullback is 5'11" or bigger, I think their body type is going to be big enough that they're still going to be able to get blocks and feel like a presence in the box. When we're comparing cards like Kazawa, you're probably thinking Kimpembe has way more defending. On this game, it sounds stupid, but extra defending stats, whilst they do matter, they're not that big. I would much rather have the extra pace and dribbling. Like Kimpembe is pretty good. If Kimpembe gets a team of the season with like high 80s pace, so he can get near 99 with a shadow, and he's pretty good on the ball, he's got good agility, high physical, he will be one of the very best centre-backs. Like when we're comparing these, I would much rather use Kleiber than Van Dijk. A lot of the classic centre-backs on this game have extra physical stats, because generally speaking, a centre-back is going to be better physically than a 6 foot and smaller right-back. Kleiber's a bit of an exception where he has crazy physicals anyway. But if we look at another example, so we've got Joe Gomez, and then we've got Kyle Walker. On Joe Gomez, because he does not have max pace, he's very good at centre-back on this game and very meta because he is quick for a centre-back. And he's got good defending, he's not bad on the ball, he's got good agility for a centre-back, decent physically. You still need to put a shadow on him because you need, when they're at 82 pace, you want to get as close to 99 pace as possible to deal with the through balls. Kyle Walker is already really quick, so even though Kyle Walker's a bit worse physically than Joe Gomez, I know it says he has more physical, but that's in jumping and stamina, which doesn't matter at centre-back. Gomez has a bit more strength and aggression. Kyle Walker doesn't need a shadow. I've got him on a shadow at the moment because he's playing on 4 or 5 chem in my team to fit Rooney in. But normally when you use Kyle Walker, if you're starting him at right back on 10 chem, or even at centre back on 7 chem, you can get away with using an anchor because his pace is already that high. And then the physical stats that most fullbacks are going to lose on, they're going to make up for that with an anchor. They're going to get an extra 10 strength, 5 aggression from an anchor anyway. So where centre-backs tend to win physically, they won't even catch up the pace with a shadow. And a lot of fullbacks will have as good physical when you give them an anchor. A great example is Reece James or Joe Gomez. So if we get Joe Gomez's in form up, because Joe Gomez's in form is a more similar price to Reece James's future star. Let's compare the two cards. So Joe Gomez is 6'2", Reece James is 6'2". So no, Reece James is 6 foot, Joe Gomez is 6'2", sorry. Joe Gomez has that bigger body to them, which is nice. Reece James, you're going to put an anchor on him because with an anchor, he still gets 97 sprint speed and 94 excel. Gomez will get 97 sprint speed with a shadow, but only 90 excel. So he's already going to have 4 less excel. So averaged out, Reece James is still going to have 2 more pace than Joe Gomez. But then when we can put an anchor on James, he's going to have 98 strength to Gomez's 85 and an extra 2 aggression. And then the defending stats are pretty similar. Reece James is actually cheaper than Joe Gomez's in form as well. You're probably thinking there is going to be a slight issue with chemistry. So I'll show you in my team, for example. I'll show you the team I'm using. At the moment, Kyle Walker is only on 4 chem. He will be on 5 chem once he gets, the loyalty. But a lot of the time, if you do your chem properly, you can get at least 7 chem on a right back or left back who is starting at centre back. Sometimes you can even make it so, it depends on your team, obviously, there's lots of different options, but you can start the right back there, get him on 10 chem, and then move him in game. But look at Kyle Walker. He still has really good stats and lots of pace, even on 4 chem. He will still be better on 4 chem than a 10 chem Joe Gomez probably. Or at the very least, it is going to be very close. He will have more pace on a 4 chem 85 Walker than an 83 Gomez will have on 10 chem with a shadow. We'll show you the last few options I talked about in this. We've got Theo Hernandez or Koulibaly. Koulibaly obviously has the extra height and crazy physicals. But when you look at this Theo Hernandez, he is that quick and he's 6 foot, which is nice, that he doesn't need the extra pace. You can literally put a sentinel on him. So Theo Hernandez is going to get 95 strength, 92 aggression. So he's going to be better physically than Koulibaly. Won't have as big a body type. But then he's got 84 agility to 54. He's got worse defending, but not miles worse. Like I say, the defending doesn't make that big a difference. You can do a lot of it manually, and as long as you switch right, it's going to work. But then the last thing I would say is that we're not just talking about defending, pace to deal with through balls. We're also talking about actually dealing with this, and then once you deal with it, how good they are on the ball. Pressing's really good on FIFA 21. So if you've got centre-backs who have 81 short pass, which is decent, that's not as good as 90 though, or 72 dribbling to 88, 84 agility to 54. Let's look at Reece James to Gomez. Gomez is one of the better centre-backs on the ball, by the way. James has way better short pass and long pass and curve and vision, way better agility, way better dribbling. You're not only getting players who are probably going to be better at defending on this game, because a lot of the time the fullbacks are going to get better physicals because they can use an anchor rather than a shadow, better pace because they're already way faster. You're getting players who are way better at dealing with through balls, better physically, but they're also going to be so much better on the ball, getting out of the press, passing the ball, distributing it, dealing with all that. They're so much better rounded. And for me, this whole package is why fullbacks, if you can fit them into your team and find the right ones, they're going to be so much better than centre-backs on this game. And it is completely down to the meta on this game. If heading and being tall was important, fullbacks would suddenly get punished. But whilst the meta is like this right now, you want to be using fullbacks where possible at centre-back. Hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully it's educated you a bit on the game and how to improve your team. In my stream, I do squad reviews for subscribers. So if you're ever wanting help with your team, maybe thinking how you can fit fullbacks into your team, I can help with that. Appreciate your support as always, guys. Hope this video has opened your eyes to the FIFA 21 meta and the best way of playing a bit more. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Keep it spicy.